If you're an insurance agent that's debating whether you should be a captive insurance agent, or maybe you're thinking about becoming an independent insurance agent, I'm going to give you some thoughts and some tips that you can hopefully take to heart so that you can help some great people. And first off, being a captive insurance agent is not a bad thing. Is it always the best thing? No, but it's not a bad thing. Being a captive insurance agent allows you to capitalize when sometimes you don't have a lot of capital in your bank account. So it's a great place sometimes when you're trying to hop into insurance sales and you're like, you know what? I don't got any money in my bank account. Well, the captive insurance handshake may be something that really helps you, because a lot of these captive insurance agencies require little to zero capital because they give you such a lower comp in most cases, not all cases, but in most cases. If you can get 100% comp in the free world, well, as a captive insurance agent, you may only see around 45% compensation. A lot smaller, but at the same point, it won't cost a lot of savings to jump into the industry normally. There's a lot of captive insurance agents out there that sometimes only pay a couple $100 a month for leads. They get a lot less comp, but it requires a lot less capital. So for certain agents, they should start as a captive insurance agent, but understand that there are some caveats. There's some things to watch out for, and just know before you sell your soul and stay at a captive insurance agency long term. And what I want to share with you is something called a vesting schedule. Most times you're building a block of business. You're being sold that, wow, come work for this one company and you're going to build a business, build a brand. Well, if it takes you 15 years or 10 years or 5 years to even have ownership of what you're being sold that you're building, believe it or not, this happens a lot with certain captive insurance agencies. They own the business and you don't. That's why in return for you not having to put out much capital for leads, they have the leverage because they own and control your block of business. They know it. And a lot of insurance agents just don't know any better. Captive insurance agencies are not a horrible place to start from. I actually used to be a captive insurance agent way back in the day. I made pretty low comp, really, like final expense business. We're talking like 45% comp, 37% or less compensation. Crazy, right? So to start somewhere is fine, but that's not where you want to stay. And when you get the wealth, that's when maybe you're going to reposition and understand that if you're not vested, yes, you will be walking away from your block of business, but it's so darn tiny anyway. But you got to have wealth when you want to consider becoming an independent insurance agent. It costs money. You've got to purchase errors and omissions insurance. Not expensive. You're talking about 30 something bucks a month. That's not a big deal for most folks, but you got to buy leads. So in insurance sales, you really want to have about $1,000 minimum, really, to buy a lot of leads, because you've got to take that leap of faith as an independent insurance agent. You've got tremendous reward, tremendous potential, but there's a pain of paying for leads as an independent insurance rep. You get paid a whole lot more, 100% right, but at the same point, you are in the driver's seat and you've got to be able to drop that money to buy the leads and be a beast. And then you got to continually believe in yourself and put the law of large numbers in your favor. So you've got to find yourself in a place where you've got the money to start. And sometimes if you've got no money to start in insurance sales, I've helped many an agent go to a captive insurance agency because they had no capital. And I didn't want them to not stay in this industry. So I steered them to a good captive insurance agency that, yes, the captive insurance agency unfortunately owns their block of business. The agent doesn't. But that's a great place to start. Not a great place to stay, in my opinion, long term, but it's a good place to leverage your beginnings so that you can be a beast later on. Like I was saying, I used to be a captive insurance agent and I just didn't know any better. Some of these places are a little bit of the Kool-Aid, raw drinking. It's them or nothing. Everybody else is not as good. But then when you open up your eyes and see, well, I'm not the best priced out there for the exact same product. Well, as a captive insurance agent, you are captive. You can only sell typically one, or they're a small family of offerings. What you're going to find as an independent agent, you are the greatest force for good. You can do powerful things that you were not allowed to do prior to. And that will increase your pick me up, the pep in your step. But more importantly, you're going to pick up more business because you can help prospects holistically. you can go grab a company to take care of them if you don't have them already. And the men and women that partner at jasonfinalexpense.com, I do run a national insurance agency. I partner with some of the most powerful producers across this nation, and I recruit agents nationally as well. We sell life, Medicare, and annuities, but we've got an insane arsenal to pull from. We can powerfully protect our prospects because we've got a lot of companies, so we can shop for what is in the best interest of our consumer. That's a great feeling at the end of the day when you've taken care of good people. Where when I was a captive insurance agent, I was really only allowed to sell one or two companies. They weren't the best maybe price on the planet, but I still placed product, still made a good living, but that's not a place you're going to stay long term unless you want to always work for that company, because to work for 5, 10, 15 years and maybe the company's okay until they're not okay, you're basically one rate increase away from not being able to make as much wealth as you can in the independent world. As an independent agent, if one company raises rates in a big way, no big deal. Just quit using this company and go reposition to this company over here. And then if that company does it, well, you've got some of the best companies across the nation to reposition to, so that you're a powerful force for the betterment of your prospect. Being a captive insurance agent doesn't allow you that freedom, doesn't allow you that flexibility. You're really stuck. One is none, as they say, two is one. And as an independent agent, you've got a huge toolbox to take care of your clients. Whereas a captive insurance agent, you're doing the good work, but your toolbox is limited. You pretty much just have one thing, or maybe two or three things at best. And they're probably maybe not the most competitive compared to your independent competitors. So becoming an independent agent does have its risks. It does have better rewards, though, because you're paid so much better and you're allowed to do so much more than you really typically can, not in all cases, but than you typically could in a captive insurance agency. Captive insurance agencies are a great place to start, in my opinion, and may be a good place for you to stay if you're an agent that says, I don't like any form of risk. I am okay at low comp. I'm okay just making this or that, and I need a warm cubicle and for them to pay for the copy machine. If that's you, maybe that's a good place. Maybe you need the book club. Maybe you need that rah feeling on the daily. Now you can get that in the independent world as well, but you've got to be a self-starter in the independent world. Where captive insurance agents, normally they're more coddling. They're definitely going to treat you kind of like a W-2, kind of tell you what to do and work you that way. Where most independent agents, we're independent. You're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. And that's how you become a beast. So some insurance agents, they probably should be captive insurance agents, especially in the beginning if they don't have much money, because they don't have a chance of making it. If you're sitting here trying to start the business with $200 in your pocket, it's probably not the best handshake for you. So trying to help you with this information, if you're trying to decide whether you should go captive or maybe you want to be an independent agent, there are so many six-figure income earners and seven-figure income earners as a result of this industry. And it's so intentional to understand what the best path is for you. If you'd like a discussion, if you'd like to go through some options, if you're kind of on the fence trying to find out if you should be captive or if you should become an independent life insurance agent, reach out at jasonfinalexpense.com. Free resources for the taking, but I'd love to spend some time with you, give you some ideas to ponder so that you can choose what's the best for you. Always remember, this is about you. It's not about anybody else. And when you're going to jump into this insurance career, it's captivating. It's amazing. You can really have an amazing chance of capitalizing when you do things right, but always vet your trainer. Vet your trainer. The person that's mentoring you, my goodness, can be responsible for you making it, or sometimes responsible for you having a mess on your hands because maybe they've never trained a human being. So even if you look at the captive handshake, make sure that your trainer has helped many agents get success. You want to know this. Just like in my agency at jasonfinalexpense.com, go on my playlist, Agent Interviews and Testimonials. I'll put it up here in the corners for you, and go listen to agents that have been trained, that have transacted at high levels. It's so important that you talk to even a captive insurance agency, talk to some great agents, see some testimonials from people that are really getting it done. It'll take you farther than maybe you thought possible, because a trainer, man, they can be responsible for helping you make it or leaving you with a mess on your hands if they're just using you as a little carrier pigeon, and then you find out you're not making the profitability because they haven't trained one insurance agent to become their best and to become a beast. I hope this helps you, but there's no wrong way to take care of good people. If you decide that the independent handshake's the best for you, well, choose your agency wisely, choose your trainer wisely. Make sure they've done telesales if that's what you're learning. Make sure that they've personally done face-to-face if that's what you find yourself wanting to do. You'll make the wealth when you've got good trainers, hopefully, that help you transact in very powerful ways. So if you got a little capital, you may want to capitalize as an independent insurance agent. There's no better life than the independent agent life, but becoming a captive agent is not wrong either. You can make the wealth there, but you're going to realize that there's so many different layers of the onion, which is why you don't get paid as much typically in a captive insurance agency, because every little manager, every little micromanager, district person, this person is taking a piece of your commission, which is going to reduce your ability to get comped maybe in a little better way. I hope this video helps you. Any free resources, by all means, jasonfinalexpense.com. Thank you for joining me today. We'll see you soon.